Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 292 based on novel. So let's start. Holding his right fist, Wang Lin walked forward and threw a punch forward. There was a loud bang that echoed between the worlds. An illusion of an ancient god's arm appeared before Wang Lin as if that punch was the punch of an ancient god. Boom, boom, boom. This earth-shattering sound replaced all other sounds on planet Water Spirit and echoed within everyone's ears. Sichu Nan's mountain tremble finger that gathered all the mountain souls on the planet collided before Wang Lin's fist. A powerful shockwave spread, causing violent waves to appear over the ocean. Sichu Nan laughed and retreated. There was admiration in his eyes and he smiled. We haven't seen each other in a long time. Wang Lin, I haven't seen you for hundreds of years, and you sure surprised me today. Wang Lin also retreated and laughed. It looks like you must have entered closed-door cultivation in these hundreds of years. The two of them looked at each other and smiled happily. Wang Lin had not been so happy for a long time. His reunion with Sichu Nan made him think of their long friendship, and this made his heart feel warm. Sichu Nan was still the same. He was very arrogant and had very few close friends, and even the ones he had long lost contact with them. Wang Lin was somewhat special as the two of them had experienced many life and death situations together. Now that he saw that Wang Lin's cultivation had reached such a degree, he was very happy. Under Wang Lin's invitation, the two flew off into the distance, leaving everyone else confused. In particular, the three Chen brothers were startled by this sudden change. It wasn't until after a long time that the three of them wryly smiled. They were all Nirvana Scryer cultivators and were all very smart. At this moment, they realized that when Sichu Nan said he was taking Ju Shui and Ling for his brother, that there was an 80% chance that his brother was Wang Lin. Master Hollow Wind could only bitterly smile at this and shook his head. Then he looked at the woman in silver that had walked out from Sichu Nan's spell and felt doubt in his heart. All of them scattered. At this moment, Wang Lin and Sichu Nan sat on the peak where Wang Lin comprehended sundered night. The mountain wind hit their clothes as the two exchanged what had happened to them over these hundreds of years. There was a white jade table between the two of them with a wine jug and other things that Sichu Nan had brought. After he took a drink, he exclaimed, I didn't think so many things would happen after you went to planet Tianyun. It would have been better if you had followed me and had fun being king. Wang Lin picked up the wine cup and drank a mouthful before shaking his head and saying, if not for some unexpected things on the way to planet Tianyun, I wouldn't have my current cultivation. Sichu Nan revealed an expression that was like a smile that was not a smile, then he put down the wine cup and laughed. I heard about the war between All Heaven and the Alliance on planet Fengluan and about the fame of the Thunder Celestial of All Heaven. I didn't expect it to be you. Wang Lin's expression remained neutral and he smiled. I was just lucky. However, your cultivation is a bit strange. You're only at the peak of the mid-stage of Nirvana Scryer, but even I panicked at the strength of that punch. Although Sichu Nan was only at the early stage of Nirvana Cleanser, his talent was simply too good. He was also painstakingly studying during his closed-door cultivation, so he was at the peak of his cultivation level. If forced into a corner, he could even fight mid-stage Nirvana Cleanser cultivators, only the price would be heavy. The battle between Wang Lin and Sichu Nan was merely just sparring. However, Sichu Nan could obviously feel a shocking power hidden within Wang Lin. Even with Sichu Nan's arrogance, he was shocked. After more than 1,000 years, the youth from back then had lost all his naivety and became a true cultivator. While Sichu Nan was in a trance, it was as if saw that simple child that had just picked up the heaven-defying bead. Then the youth flashed by and became the simple youth in the Hengyu sect that didn't understand the cruel world of cultivators. The youth that lost his parents and lost his body before being saved by Sichu Nan. Then this youth went on a path of slaughter to almost become a monster. The youth that rediscovered himself after finding his domain. The youth who gradually rose to fame on planet Suzaku and finally reached the peak to awaken him, Sichu Nan. Sichu Nan let out a sigh as he looked at Wang Lin. He couldn't help but think of the day they departed. One went to planet Tianyun to become a disciple and one went to planet Fengluan to enjoy life. In a flash, hundreds of years passed, and today, the two reunited once more. Aside from the friendship not changing, everything else had changed too much. A person's life was merely this. As Wang Lin looked at Sichu Nan, memories of the past also flashed through his mind. These memories were too old, but Wang Lin clearly remembered them. He couldn't forget what he once said under the night sky. I, Wang Lin, will never bow to the heavens or pay respect to any ghost or god. I only bow to my parents and pay my respects to Sichu. Sichu Nan had helped him far too much. If not for Sichu, Wang Lin would have died in Jiao and would never have the achievements he had today. If it wasn't for Sichu, it would have been hard for Wang Lin to step through to early stages of the first step, Qi condensation, foundation establishment, core formation, and nascent soul. Without his foundation, it would have been hard for him to reach his current level. If not for Sichu's death, demonic, and underworld fingers, along with how to use spells and treasures, it would have been hard for Wang Lin to gain a foothold on planet Tianyun. If not for Sichu, when Wang Lin was attacked by the scattered devil in the demon spirit land, he would have died without the underworld finger. There was also the heaven-defying bead. If Sichu Nan had any greed, he wouldn't have let Wang Lin keep such a mysterious treasure. If Sichu were to take it from Wang Lin would die. Because of that, Sichu simply smiled and said one thing. I gift you this. As the memories from the past resurfaced, the two people on the peak became silent. The wind whistled by, but it couldn't scatter the emotions they felt. These emotions became even more powerful until they were like a shroud of smoke that would linger forever in their hearts, representing their eternal friendship. As the mountain breeze blew by, the two drank one cup after another. After a moment of silence, both laughed. Real friends don't need to say much, just a cup of wine and a laugh can allow them to throw away all the sadness, leaving only joy. A man can have no lover, but he can't be without a true friend. Sichu Nan didn't question more about Wang Lin's cultivation being strange. He interrupted Wang Lin's words as he drank a cup of wine and smiled. What more is there to say between us two brothers? When I was at a disadvantage on planet Fengluan, I first thought of you. Later, you and I will definitely slaughter our way back to planet Fengluan. Wang Lin smiled and nodded without asking more. He chatted with Sichu Nan as they drank wine until it was late into the night. The bright moon hung in the sky, shining brightly. Although it was cold, it was also very quiet. Talking about life with a friend made Wang Lin's mind feel peaceful. He hadn't had this warm feeling in a very long time. This kind of warmth appeared by itself when one was with old friends. It was as if he was back on planet Suzaku, where he and Sichu Nan's fates were linked. You were also famous in the All-Heaven Star system, and it can be said you had fun there. But poor me, I originally was having fun on planet Fengluan but accidentally saw some of those damn women. It shouldn't have been a big deal in the cultivation world. I didn't care much, didn't I just take a few extra looks, didn't I just engrave the images into a jade? Sichu Nan was depressed as he drank a big mouthful of wine. That was all I did, yet they released a kill order to hunt me day and night. It forced me to hide, and I couldn't even act like a king in peace. Finally, I was forced to change closed-door cultivation locations every once in a while. In these past several hundred years, I was like a mouse running from one planet to another. Planets filled with spiritual energy and abandoned planets without any spiritual energy, I've been to them all. Sichu Nan became angry as he talked about this, so he simply picked up a jug and drank for a few breaths. Then he put it down and hatefully said, after I came out of closed-door cultivation, I slaughtered my way to planet Fengluan, but there were too many of them. And they had gotten some helpers, making me suffer a big loss. When Sichu Nan got to this point, his face unexpectedly turned red. Wang Lin roughly guessed the story before his eyes narrowed and he frowned. He grabbed Sichu Nan's right hand and he carefully spread out his divine sense. After a long time, Wang Lin's expression became even more strange. Sichu Nan wryly smiled and drank a cup before he said, "You saw through it." Wang Lin pondered for a bit as a flash of coldness appeared in his eyes along with monstrous killing intent. He nodded and said, "What kind of poison is so powerful that you can't force it out even with your cultivation?" Situ Nan put down his cup of wine and wryly smiled. "I don't know where those damn women from planet Phone 1 got this poison. I checked a lot of records to find that this poison is called the seventh heaven. 3 days of heaven, then 3 days of hell. Damn it, during these days, I really wished I was dead. This poison is a remnant of the celestial realm, and before the celestial realm collapsed, it was a poison made by refining countless celestials for 100 years. This poison has no effect on mortals, but it targets celestials. After this poison enters the body, it is impossible to force it out because it completely fuses with one's origin soul. The main effect of this seventh heaven is in the 3 days of heaven and 3 days of hell. During the first 3 days, you will be in a state of illusion and waste all your mental power. Then you spend the next 3 days dying. On the 7th day, your origin soul is completely destroyed. Although it takes 7 days for you to die, but the moment you are poisoned, you lose all your cultivation. Then, Wang Lin looked at Situ Nan. It was obvious Situ Nan hadn't lost his cultivation. Situ bitterly smiled. When he picked up the wine jug, he found that there was no wine left. So he took a big jug out from his bag and broke the seal. He drank directly from it and allowed the wine to drip down the corner of his mouth. After putting down the wine jug, he sighed and said, "Luckily, this old man is clever and came up with an extreme way to resist this poison. I used a female cultivator as my cultivation furnace. Through a special pair cultivation method, I was able to stimulate the seventh heaven, making it remain in the first stage. This is how I was able to delay it until now." The killing intent in Wang Lin's cold gaze exploded as he looked up at the stars. His killing intent toward planet Phone 1 that pushed Situ Nan into this state was monstrous. Wang Lin slowly asked, "Does planet Phone 1 have Nirvana Shatterer cultivators?" Situ Nan shook his head and said, "There are no Nirvana Shatterer cultivators, at most mid-stage Nirvana cleanser. There aren't even any late-stage or peak late-stage Nirvana cleanser cultivators. It's just, there are a lot of Nirvana cleanser cultivators on planet Phone 1, and adding on their helpers, there are more than 10. Wang Lin sneered as he nodded and said, "We definitely have to get revenge, but more importantly, we need to focus on how to get rid of your poison." Situ Nan's eyes lit up and he said, "I do have some plans regarding this. Those damn women from planet Phone 1 had the poison but not the antidote. The real antidote should be in the celestial realm. Once the Rain celestial realm opens, I'll head there and perhaps I can find it." Wang Lin's expression changed and he asked, "Celestial realm? Was this poison refined by the Rain celestial realm?" Situ Nan nodded and said, "From the records I found, it was refined by the Rain celestial realm." Wang Lin pondered a bit. He still had the pagoda from Ju Yi. Inside there laid Celestial Lord Qing Shuang's corpse. Qing Shuang was a celestial lord of the Rain celestial realm. Back in the day, I found various clues pointing to the fact that inside that mysterious cave in the demon spirit land lies the strongest celestial emperor from the past, Celestial Emperor Qing Lin. This Qing Lin was Qing Shuang's father, and he may have a way to revive her. Once she revives, it will be easy to cure this poison." Wang Lin's eyes shined as he looked at Situ Nan and slowly said, "Perhaps there is no need to go to the Rain celestial realm to find the antidote." At this moment, he told Situ Nan what happened in the demon spirit land, as well as his own deduction. As Situ Nan listened, there was a mysterious light in his eyes. After Wang Lin finished speaking, he pondered a bit and smiled. "That sounds good. I'll risk it and see what happens. Either way, even if there was no such thing, I'd still to go to the demon spirit land with you. Now we might be able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. As for planet Phone 1, they can't escape." The killing intent inside Wang Lin's eyes was strong. He had always been one to not bother others if they didn't offend him. However, since Situ Nan was pushed into such a state, they had touched his bottom line. They began drinking and talking on the peak again until it was dawn. After Situ Nan finished drinking the last jug of wine in his bag, he looked at Wang Lin for a while before revealing a strange smile. "I say, little Lin, could it be that you, a piece of wood, has gained enlightenment?" Wang Lin was startled, and he subconsciously rubbed his nose. He didn't really understand what Sichu Nan meant. Don't be silly. If you say your purpose for coming to Planet Water Spirit isn't those two girls, I won't believe you. Sichu Nan revealed a smile that wasn't a smile. I originally wanted to take those two girls to make them your concubines, but I didn't think you'd move even faster than me. You had already come here. Although gaining intimacy as an influential person is not bad, I still have to scold you. You're not young anymore, yet you're still playing these games of chasing girls. If it was me, I would have just taken them directly. Later, once the rice is cooked, so what if she is unwilling? Even if she wasn't willing, she'd still have to be willing for this old man. Sichu Nan snorted and continued, thinking back to when I was the Susaku, I did this many times. If I fancied them, I'd just take them, who would dare to say no? Wang Lin wryly smiled. He understood Sichu Nan too much and didn't doubt Sichu Nan had done such things. After letting out a dry cough, Wang Lin shook his head. I don't have any ideas about those two juniors. It's just that one of them is somewhat fated with me, but not as a Dao partner. After he spoke, Wang Lin's expression became bleak. He thought of Li Muwen, who was inside the heaven-avoiding coffin. Then there was also Liu Mai, who made him feel extremely complex and always made him feel a stab of pain. Liu Mai probably isn't be dead. Wang Lin looked at the sky. He became aware of this after returning to the Alliance star system. It was a kind of an intuition, a sense for the future he gained after cultivating for over 1,000 years and entering the second step. Sichu Nan naturally saw the pain hidden deep within Wang Lin's eyes and let out a sigh. He knew a bit about the matter between Wang Lin and Li Muwen. This was why he wanted to find a suitable female cultivator for his brother, so Wang Lin could walk away from that sadness. He didn't know that before Wang Lin's sadness could heal, it was mercilessly ripped open again by Liu Mai. This caused an irreparable pain that was forever engraved in his soul. Wang Lin's love life had been very sad. Li Muwen's departure allowed him to learn to cherish, but by the time he understood it, the person he cherished was gone. The kind of life where one lived alone among the stars was not something one could understand without living such a life themselves. His interactions with Liu Mai caused him great amounts of pain. He spent 100 years resolving the resentment Wang Pin had, but it couldn't dissolve the pain in Wang Lin's heart. He picked up the last jug of wine on the table and mercilessly took a drink. He put it down with a bang and laughed. Sichu, you once taught me that the cultivation world is cruel and runs on the law of the jungle. If one is careless for a moment, they will perish. If you wish to live, you must become merciless and vicious. Only then do you have the qualifications to survive. I have learned how to become vicious, and I have slaughtered during my more than 1,300 years of cultivation. I've also learned loneliness, but I have lost far too much. I've lost my parents, my family, my lover, my child, my happiness, my everything. Sometimes, I ask myself, what am I after? Sichu Nan silently pondered as he looked at Wang Lin. He opened his mouth, but he couldn't say anything. He was always arrogant and overbearing, but his heart was shaken by Wang Lin's words. When mother and father died, I was devastated, but too weak to change anything. I could only change that anger into a demonic flame until the day it erupted. When Li Muwen died, I was unable to change fate and recover her from the reincarnation cycle. I could only helplessly watch her become old until she died. You still don't know that due to the accident with me and Liu Mai, she became pregnant with my flesh and blood. However, what was sent to me was a soul that had absorbed hundreds of years of resentment. A child that resented its father. All of this was caused by cultivation. If I didn't cultivate, although I'd be one with the earth right now, none of this sadness would have fallen on me. Wang Lin's face was filled with bitterness. He couldn't say any of this to anyone else in the world. Only one person would let him vent all the bitterness he had experienced in this 1,000 years, and that person was Sichu. Only Sichu, the one who had watched him start as an ignorant teenager until he walked on the true path of cultivation and finally left planet Suzaku. While Sichu Nan pondered, he picked up the wine jug and handed it to Wang Lin. Wang Lin accepted it and drank another big mouthful before laughing. Cultivators can't even feel drunk when drinking. His laugh drifted in the air and was filled with sadness and sorrow. If you want to be drunk, then I'll let you be drunk. Situ Nan touched his bag and immediately took out a purple jade bottle and placed it on the table. This wine was brewed in the celestial realm, and there isn't much left. I found it by accident, and although it can't increase cultivation, 1 drop is enough for you to feel drunk like a mortal. Situ Nan sent the wine over to Wang Lin. Wang Lin, with me here, you can become drunk once. Wang Lin grabbed the bottle, and without looking at it, he drank a mouthful. As this mouthful of wine went down his throat, he felt a spiciness rise up in his throat. Then hot air gathered in his abdomen and rose through his body. Cultivation, cultivation, did you know that once I sent the ashes of an old friend to his hometown? Do you know what I heard, Situ? Wang Lin took the bottle and drank once more. Bitterness filled his eyes. The apricot tree blooms white flowers. The daughter won't be taken by a Daoist family. Last year, Lang II went up the mountain, and a year later, Lang I was a bag of bones. The cry of the daughter accompanies the dead but takes the coffin as family. The apricot tree blooms white flowers and children shouldn't be taken by Taoists. If asked about my age, I still haven't found my Tao. The dog barks, the cat scratches, scaring the Daoist back home. This nursery rhyme that came from Wang Lin's mouth contained a trace of sadness. A trace of his helplessness and enlightenment from more than 1,300 years of cultivation. When Situ Nan heard this, his hand trembled. Cultivating for more than 1,000 years. How many life and death situations have I faced to reach my current cultivation level? Was it all worth it? I don't dare to ask. I don't dare to think about the joys I'd have if I didn't cultivate. Because I have already walked into the life of a cultivator, it is too difficult to quit. Too many things force me to continue on. If I become timid, I won't be able to continue cultivating. Situ, I had a child you'll never meet. His name was Wang Ping. I named him myself so that he would live a happy and peaceful life of a mortal. To never cultivate. During his lifetime, he asked me 3 times why he couldn't cultivate. Why? Was it because he couldn't cultivate or because I didn't want him to become like me? Wang Lin held the wine cup and drank it all. He felt a slight dizziness in his head. The only other time he had felt drunk like this was when he secretly drank some of his dad's rice wine when he was a kid. What I pursue is something no one can understand. What I pursue is something only I know. Wang Lin's body swayed. He was drunk, time quickly passed. In the blink of an eye, Situ Nan had stayed on planet Water Spirit for 2 months. On this day, as the formation over the Heavenly Fate sect opened, the All-Seer personally sent out invitations. All the old monsters qualified to enter the Demon Spirit Land received the invitations. In 10 days, the Demon Spirit Land will open and we will enter the Celestial Cave. There was only one line on this invitation, but it set off a storm among those who received it. The fact that there was a celestial cave inside the Demon Spirit Land was not hidden among these old monsters. Almost all of them knew a few things, and some guessed that there was still celestial alive inside. Most people suspected this celestial to be the Celestial Emperor Qing Lin. However, this was only a suspicion, there was no conclusive evidence to prove it all. But this was enough to cause these old monsters' hearts to race and bring their blood to a boil. There was a large amount of celestial treasures and celestial spells inside the celestial cave, but that wasn't what held these old monsters' attention the most. What really made those old monsters excited was the celestial that was likely to exist inside. If the person inside was really Celestial Emperor Qing Lin, the strongest celestial across the 4 celestial realms, then they might find the secret to reaching the 3rd step on his body. This was what attracted old monsters like the All-Seer. According to their countless years of exploration, some of these old monsters had a lot of information regarding whether Qing Lin was really inside the cave. The fact that Qing Lin didn't die during the collapse of the celestial realm shows just how powerful his cultivation was. Although he wasn't killed, he was seriously injured, so he had to find a place to enter closed-door cultivation. All kinds of signs pointed to the celestial cave in the Demon Spirit Land. To be able to enter the cave of the former strongest celestial emperor, and that Celestial Emperor hadn't recovered from his serious injuries yet. This kind of stimulation excited these powerful cultivators greatly. Moreover, after entering the demon spirit land many times, they were almost certain the person inside the celestial cave hadn't recovered yet. When the All-Seer sent out the invitations, Ling Qian, who came out from the depths of the planet, he had his own ambitions about the demon spirit land. He had also sent out his invitations and waited for his friends to arrive. There were suddenly a lot more cultivators around planet Qianyun. Most of them came from other cultivation planets. Very few were invited and many came uninvited. It was impossible to make it so outsiders didn't know about this. However, right now the battle between All Heaven and the Alliance was becoming more and more fierce. Small skirmishes happened all the time, and sometimes they led to medium-sized battles. As a result, only a few powerful cultivators had come. Moreover, the All-Seer's status as an elder of the Alliance made it so some powerful cultivators didn't dare to come to try fish in these troubled waters. 10 days quickly passed, and cultivators had already gathered at the entrance. As cultivators arrived, even more people appeared here. Even the cultivators within the range of planet Qianyun came. They all hoped to take this opportunity to obtain some benefits from this land that opened at irregular times. On the 10th day, the All-Seer arrived. He came by himself as he stepped through the void. The white-robed All-Seer arrived looking very calm. His grey hair flowed behind him, making him look like a real celestial. In addition, there was a trident as black as ink below his feet. Every one of his steps would land on the trident. All the cultivators that knew the All-Seer knew that he rarely used treasures. He could shake the world with just his countless celestial spells. At this moment, when everyone's gazes were focused on the trident under the All-Seer's feet, they were shocked. However, no one talked about it, and they moved out of the way for the All-Seer to arrive above the East Demon Spirit Sea. Below the All-Seer was the East Demon Spirit Sea. There was no suction from the vortex here, it was the gate to the Demon Spirit Land. The appearance of the All-Seer caused the surroundings to become quiet. The All-Seer's expression was neutral, it was impossible to tell what he was thinking. He stared at the East Demon Spirit Sea as if he was pondering. Shortly after, fluctuations of origin energy came from the distance and the old monsters arrived one by one. One of them was the old man sitting on the gourd who was there when Wang Lin returned. At this moment, there were 9 people from his sect behind the old man. He floated to above the East Demon Spirit Sea and greeted the All-Seer. The All-Seer smiled and nodded. They no longer talked afterward. About 15 minutes after the old man appeared, red clouds appeared in the distance. These red clouds were formed by a spell, so it wasn't strange for them to appear in space. There was a beautiful middle-aged woman on the red cloud, and 4 beautiful young women followed her. This was the woman that invited Wang Lin before. As for the 4 young women, they were the same ones from back then. The one wearing pink looked around as if she was looking for something. She was the person Ling Qian who suspected to be the brilliant Void Saintress. Then a few more old monsters came, and although they were old monsters, they were only at the Nirvana Scryer stage. After they arrived, they all scattered to talk with their friends. A lot of them weren't cultivators of planet Qianyun. They were in small groups or by themselves, but they all would occasionally look at the giant vortex over the East Demon Spirit Sea. Soon, loud, whistling sounds could be heard and rays of golden light whistled through and gathered above the East Demon Spirit Sea. As the golden light moved, the entire area seemed to be shrouded by this light. When all the golden light gathered, it released a bright flash. A person gradually walked out from this golden light. He had long hair that flowed without wind. He had a large figure and looked like a war celestial. He was about 40 years old, his face was resolute, and his eyes were like lightning. You would be shocked just looking at him. Just by standing there, he gave off an aura of majesty. There were many powerful cultivators among the surrounding cultivators, but when they saw this person's gaze, they couldn't help but lower their heads. This person wore a purple robe and a 3-eyed sable lied on his shoulder. This sable's gaze was like lightning as it looked around with indifference. The moment the purple-robed man appeared, the All-Seer raised his head and frowned slightly. The expression of the old man on the gourd changed and became gloomy. The man in purple smiled and slowly said, "Fellow cultivator Allseer, we haven't met for many years. Today I was invited to come so I'm able to catch up to friend Allseer. Elder son is being polite." The Allseer calmly looked at this person. The star-marked sable on the purple-robed man's shoulder looked around with an intelligent gaze. It would occasionally scratch its face with its claws. Shortly after the purple-robed man appeared, sword energy began to appear. In the distance, a bright flash of sword energy filled the sky. Then a red Chileen appeared over the horizon. There was a skinny old man sitting on the Chileen's back. Before he arrived, his laugh was heard. "Brother Sun is very fast. Along the way, I was wondering if Brother Sun had come." The man in purple smiled and said, "Since Sword Saint sent the invitation, I naturally had to come. Not only me, but that person has also accepted your invitation." Sword Saint Ling Qianho's eyes shined brightly and there was a quick flash of ecstasy in them. At this moment, a huge change occurred in the Demon Spirit Land. The Demon Spirit Land was split into 9 countries. However, a clan that called themselves the Soul Refining Tribe became a new powerhouse between the Fire Demon Country and the Sky Demon Country. This tribe was very aggressive. After devouring a large number of people, they had become a very powerful force within the 2 countries. They had millions of tribe members, and such a huge tribe was something even the 2 countries dreaded. However, what was strange was that the ancient demons didn't move against such a large tribe. Everyone was confused about this. What the military of the 2 countries dreaded the most was that almost every single member of this tribe could use powerful spells. They would often take out large flags, and countless soul fragments would fly out of them. When they fused, they could turn into soul beasts and devour their enemies. In particular, the few leaders had amazing powers. Especially this person called 13, who collected soul fragments to cultivate like crazy and had the power to confront demon generals. Also, there was the tribe leader, Oyenghua, who had 99 large flags. If he took them out, he could summon hundreds of millions of soul fragments. He was a formidable opponent. Although the people of the Demon Spirit Land were different from cultivators, meaning their cultivation speed can't be compared, the development of the Soul Refining Tribe was too fast. This meant that they had absorbed a lot of soul fragments throughout the years. This was indeed the truth. The Soul Refining Tribe had many branches across all 9 demon countries. They had scouted every single ancient battlefield, every battle between 2 countries, and all wars between other tribes in these past few hundred years. Today, almost all of the Soul Refining Tribe members had left their homes. Millions of tribe members holding large flags charged straight for the Fire Demon Country. From far away, this was a spectacular scene. There was no ancient demon inside the Fire Demon Country, and in the past several hundred years, the country had splintered. Originally, it was occupied by the Sky Demon Country, but their losses were heavy and they couldn't recover in a short period of time. In the end, the Sky Demon Country could only give up on it. This gave the Soul Refining Tribe this opportunity. After hundreds of years of fighting, Oyenghua and 13, along with several leaders of the tribe, began a battle for the Fire Demon Country. There was a black statue being carried by more than 10 people within the large army. All the members of the Soul Refining Tribe looked at the statue with reverence. In these hundreds of years, no one had forgotten, not even new tribe members, about the various legends of the person the statue was based on. This statue was the soul of their Soul Refining Tribe. The king of their Soul Refining Tribe, their ancestor. Years of worship by millions of people caused the statue to contain a strange power. It had made it even more smooth. The ancestor left, but we firmly believe that the ancestor will return. The ancestor won't forget about us. This video will end here.